Morning, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. Each week, I try to bring you the words of a Holy Spirit. I try to bring you a message, and I try my best to educate you about Jesus, God, the afterlife, angels. My current book, 11th book, is called Jesus, the Missing Years. And if you'd truly like to understand what took place during his life before the 33 years before his ministries, I believe it's the only source of the information. So tell your friends about it. It's on Amazon in many formats. It's on my websites. I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible. And I still have it discounted today. So go to Amazon and you'll truly learn a lot. One of my favorite guests is the Reverend Billy Graham. In life, I actually went to one of his sermons, and he was an incredible individual, and he's still an incredible spirit. So the Reverend Graham is ready. So let us begin. Good morning, everyone. And yes, I truly enjoyed speaking to the masses. I would tell them my concept of Jesus and God, and they would listen. And many of them would truly respond. Many of them would come forward and accept the fact that Christ was their guide, their wonderful master, their teacher. That Christ was everything. That Christ controlled all aspects of their lives, and that Christ was this wonderful individual. They would come forward and they would accept his words. And I would wonder as I stood there just how many of those people that were flocking to come forward to the altar would follow his words the next day. You see, many people listen to God. Many people pray to him. They think that they can mislead him. They tell God that they are going to change their lives, that they're going to do everything that he asks of them, that they will serve him for all times in the future, that they won't fall on their knees to evil, that they will do all of the wonderful things that he asks of them. And then they leave the church, and then they may go to their social media, or they may sit back and think, oh my goodness, what have I done? Well, he'll forget. I'll just go out and do what I've always done. I'll take advantage of people, and when I'm at work, I'll speak behind their back and stab them and try to belittle them. Well, my friend there in the next office, he left a couple dollars on the floor. He must have lost them. I'll go in and I'll just help myself to them, and he'll never miss them. They go out and they do all of the things that they did before, and then they think that God doesn't know. Well, guess what? He knows. Hypocrites. That's what they are. You've heard the word before, and many of you know what the word is. Now, many of you wonderful people that are listening, I know that you truly understand every word that he says, every message that you get, and you try to help as many people as you can. Many of you have great hearts. We watch from over here, and we truly thank you for all that you do to help others. What can you do to lead a better life? It's very simple. Don't do anything you don't want done to you. I know Jesus tells you that. You hear it every week. You hear it from me. You hear it from everyone that comes forward. Those of us in heaven that still try to serve God, when we get a chance, we try to bring you the same message that he wants. God is everywhere. God has created your world. He blesses you every day, and you never understand fully what he does. There's a spark of his energy in everyone. You've heard that many times as well. That spark is your key. Open your heart to that spark. Let the energy flow, and you will truly understand who God is and what he wants of you. Each of you have been sent back. Many of you that are listening have specific roles that God sent you back to do. You see, many people from the highest levels of heaven are brought together by the messages that he brings through Barry. You see, there are many ways that you can correspond. You can pray to him, but it is often difficult for people to receive messages back. Many people don't have the psychic abilities that people like Barry has. You see, he is truly speaking my words. There is no doubt. He is speaking words that I am speaking standing next to him. You may not be able to see me, but he's feeling my energy and he knows that I'm here. You see, he knows that whenever he asks me, I will come to try to serve God, and I will try to bring the best messages I can bring. I still do my best every moment of your days. You see, in heaven, we don't have days. That is a human thing. That is a planet thing. The relationship between the earth and the moon, that's what brings you days. And humans have realized that they should have time. What is time to a human? How many humans understand how short the time they have is and use it not to serve God? I want you to understand the necessity of using the little time that you have to serving God, because that is, let's say that is your scorecard. That is how God keeps track of what you do. Many things that you do serve evil. You need to stop it. You need to not do anything that is going to harm anyone else. You need to not do anything that is going to strengthen evil, because evil is overcoming good in this world that you're currently living in. There are many people that only serve evil today. There are many people that have the most incredible wealth, and they could care less what happens to the humans that are struggling, trying to feed their families, trying to do all of the things that all of you do. Wealth is a misnomer. Wealth is a misleader. You see, when a person has wealth, they think that they have special abilities. Many people have just been lucky. Many people have just simply inherited it, and they think that that has made them something special. Wealth misleads you. Wealth will lead you away from God. Now, wealth can truly lead you to God, and many people have used the wealth, the blessings that they are given, to help others, and that is the true happiness. That is the path to true happiness. Many people never know happiness. They think they do. They think they're happy when they're strolling through their mansions or their yachts or whatever. They think they are the most powerful. They think they're so envied by everybody. That wealth is not bringing them happiness because they're not helping others with that wealth. They don't even understand it, but there will be a day. Oh, trust me, there will be a day when they are told how the great disservice that they did to themselves. They chose not to help anyone. They chose to hoard the wealth and give it to their family, their children, and their children turned to drugs, and the children died early times from addiction. Wealth has led to incredible unhappiness for so many people. Oh, you see these famous movie stars. They gained wealth because they can pretend. They can pretend there's someone else. They can pretend they're good people. They can pretend they know their knowledge. What can be worse than a politician telling you how to vote? They can't spell their own name, but they can tell you what to do because they have this so-called fame. You know how fleeting that fame is? They're one bad movie or show away from nobody remembering them. How many of you can truly remember the names of the historic figures from Hollywood? Now, many of them did incredible things. You've heard from people like Paul Newman. You've heard from many good people that have used their wealth to help others. Those people are remembered. You see, they're not remembered for the acting that they did in most instances, but they're remembered for the good that they did and are doing. Many people have truly done it. Andrew Carnegie, you hear from him often on shows that Barry does. He tried to give away all his wealth that he could. For 13 years, he tried to do as much good with his wealth as he could. Now, yes, he could have started a little earlier. He could have given higher wages and done things like that. But he came to realize, truly realize, that the key to happiness laid not in helping himself, but in what he could do to help others learn. Barry writes his books to help others learn. Many people don't avail themselves of that information, and that's very sad. He has now written about the life of Jesus, and he has written it from the words that were with him. I was a son of Jesus. Not many people know that. You see, Jesus was happily married and had many children, 5 of them, and I was one. I knew him personally. I was so blessed that I knew what it was like to look into his eyes, to have him hold me, and to have him show true love. That is why I come back and I do so much to try to lead others to him. That is why I truly understand what it is like to know Jesus, because I really knew him. When I'm on this side, I am in the level of which he resides. So I get to see him. He comes to me and he still asks me to do things. There will be a time very shortly that I'm going to return as another human, and I'm going to do my best to lead people to him. It is so important today. There is nothing more important than acknowledging the existence of Jesus and following his teachings. If humans do not do that, and during the next generations, there will be no humans to do it. There are many fanaticals with weapons of mass destruction. Everyone talks to you about them. These fanatics have no compulsion in how they will use the weapons. The good countries, the countries that believe in God, and I'm not just saying Christian countries, I'm saying Muslims. Muslims are wonderful people. Muhammad did a good job. His words were distorted, and people are distorting his teachings, and that's why there are many problems. But the good Muslims, the ones that truly understand his teachings, can rise up, and they can destroy the bad governments that exist and do not understand his teachings. Iran, they are capable of doing terrible things. They are capable of using a nuclear weapon. The fanatic in Russia that's leading his country has no compulsion against leading hundreds of thousands of his boys to his death to support his ego. If his back is to the wall, we do not know what he will do as well. But we do know this: their reigns have got to end if humans are going to exist and turn to God in the future. The incredible thing about Russia right now is they are using religion as a weapon of war. Have you heard what they are speaking? They are saying that if you don't die for the country, you're not serving God. Where are these people coming from? Well, I know. They're coming from the distortion of evil today. They are serving wealth and power just the same as the leaders that are taking the lives of all these young boys. So the question is, what can you do? You're a single individual. You're listening to the words and you're following them and you're believing them and you're trying to live by them. But what you must do is you must go out and you must teach others. You must show them the truth, the way. You must go out and you must teach the young. There is no substitute for teaching and guiding the young because they become the leaders. As people grow older, they lose the ability to lead. You see, they're preparing to come home for their greatest day of their lives. In their youth, many of them lead, and many people try to do the best they can. Everyone can set an example in their later years. Just because they succumb to illness, just because they use their mental acuity, they can still be these great examples. You see, the aged must never turn away from God because they are reaching the point that they will soon be with Him. They are reaching the point of the most exciting time of their life, the final day that they close their eyes and their souls return to heaven, and they truly understand the concept of everlasting life. Many people have turned away from God. They've led others away. They are atheists. That's the word you apply to them. They are on the truly wrong path. They are wasting their human life. The greatest value that a person can do in their life is to lead people to God. That is the greatest truism you will ever hear. You must serve God in every way you can, and that is simply by doing the best you can and helping others, showing them the way, showing them how they too can be like God. Use the example of Jesus. He walked the earth knowing the Romans were going to take his life. He knew from the day he started to understand things that there would be a day that he would die in a very excruciating manner. But he also knew that he would resurrect and that he would return and show humans the true power of God. You see, the resurrection is the example of the true power of God. Without the resurrection, you would never know his incredible powers. You will never know his incredible powers until you return and truly see heaven and all of the dimensions that are around you. But you can believe and understand. We tell you of these things, we give you details. We tell you so much. We tell you as much as we can, but there are things you will never, ever understand until you return. Your day of return is the greatest day of your life. There is no way to not understand that. But if you're an atheist, then that day of return will not be as nice as it could have been. Your guides are going to point out all of the things that you did wrong in your life. And they're going to say, why did you lead others away? You harmed that person. You helped destroy that person's life because you told them there was no God. You told them there was no heaven. And you told them that death was the end. And now you're standing in front of us and you know death is not the end. You know that death is but the beginning. But you wasted your life. You had the opportunity. You had the will. You had the knowledge. And you did not follow any of it. So use this day of blessing. Use this day of knowing of God, knowing of Jesus. Use this every day, because every day is one of the final days in your life. You never know when you're going to close those eyes, and there will never be another day as you know it. You will be able to come back. You will be able to do better in your next life. But make the most of this one. This life is very valuable, and you must make the most of it. Follow God. Just simply use your common sense and work with people that know God. If a person cannot be told that God exists, do not waste time on them. They will know eventually. Oh, they'll find out the hard way. You've tried. You've tried to lead them to where they need to go, but they have refused. They're like the donkey that cannot be led. And there's another name for those donkeys. So thank you so much for listening. I always love the opportunity to speak again. I think you've noticed the energy of Barry today. I tried to, shall we say, juice him up a bit. I love speaking, and I love having people listen. I know Jesus is blessing all of you that are listening today and will bless you every day of your life. So goodbye, and thank you for allowing me to speak once more. Wow. I don't know what he had for breakfast. Folks, check out my new book. It's not that I'm making money at this. I mean, it takes me a year to write it. I want you to see the information. I want you to learn just how special Jesus was in his life. This is the only place you can truly find this information. The only place in this whole earth where you can be told the truth. So check out the book, Jesus, the Missing Years. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again next week. I don't know who it's going to be, but I know I better rest up. So goodbye, and thank you so much.